all the 9 categories. So this is a project, but it is also a competition. So let me turn, you mean turn the lights off?
Actually, do you mind leaving them on?
Okay, no, I can skip it.
Okay.
All right, I haven't updated this, I apologize. So it is levels of competition. It's basically our school fair, which is in early February. We take the top 4 in each category onto the regional. The top 3 in regional go to state, and the top 2 from state go to nationals in each of those 9 categories. So you have a really good chance of doing well in the competition part if you choose the right category. But what's the most important choice you need to make in the National History Day project? Anybody? Yes?
Your topic.
Your topic. Thank you, sir. Because if you don't choose the right topic, you're not going to love what you're doing, and you're not going to have a lot of fun doing it. After you choose the right topic, then you can choose the right category that fit the right topic. There are 5 main categories. The 5 categories are exhibit, essay, performance, documentaries, and websites. But as I said, each one of those are broken down into individual or group category, with the exception of which one? Essays. Yeah, the essay is the only category up here out of the 9 that you have to do by yourself. And that's not a problem, especially if you want to only hold yourself accountable, or you aren't really good at working with groups and things like that. So I'm going to go through all of them as quickly as I can, and then as we go through them, if you have questions, feel free to jump in. We'll start with the exhibit. The exhibit category is a really fun one if you are really good at visual, spatial learning, or you're just really good at hands-on stuff and you're wanting to put stuff together. There are some requirements. It cannot be longer than 40 inches, which is like from wrist to wrist. It can't be deeper than 30 inches, which is like from wrist to my back. And it cannot be taller than 6 feet, and I'm 6'1", so if it's taller than me, it's too tall. Okay? Other than that, you can do whatever you want with it. Most people look at it as a 3-panel display. They have the 3 panels that fold in, much like a science fair project. But you can be creative and innovative with your exhibit. The other stipulation about the exhibit is it has to be under 500 words. Okay? 500 words is the word limit. But again, you can be creative. 500 words are your words. It does not include or count towards people's quotes that you're using from history, pictures, graphics, words in the graphics. That's not in the 500 words. Does anybody have an idea about paragraph-wise how many 500 words would look like? How many paragraphs would be? Yes, sir. Yeah, it's about 4, maybe 5 paragraphs. So we're not looking at like a whole lot of words on your exhibit. It's really supposed to be visually stimulating because you want to be able to walk up to the board and be excited to look at it. It's drawing you in. The other part about it, it needs to be informative as a standalone project. Exhibits, in my opinion, are very hard because everyone thinks that they can do it. Everyone has a great idea. And so the most competitive in numbers, based on quantity, would be the actual exhibits. Last year at our regionals, there were about 40 individual exhibits and about 40 group exhibits. So 80 students or 80 projects were in the exhibit category for 3 or 2 or a few spots. So if you are really good at it, this is a good category for you to choose, but it's also one of the most competitive, especially Springdale, because the kids in Springdale like to make really big boards, spend several $100s to make it look very nice and presentable, and those projects typically do go on to state and nationals from Arkansas. Okay? The other thing is you can be creative, but make sure you're using your space wisely. My rule of thumb, if I can put a hand there, there's too much space. So you want to make sure you're using the maximum amount of your board. So let's look at a few and determine, are they good, are they bad, and why. Let's start with this one. It's a voting booth. Is it good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Why?
They don't use your space.
A lot of space. I think it's good topic, and I think they designed a booth or their exhibit to look like the booth, which is good. But as a judge, I'm looking at it, and they did not use their space wisely. I put my hand here, 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 here. Stars, while they might be cool, they're not really necessary. This is a history project. This is not an art project. It's not who designed the best board. It's whose designed board displays and tells the best history or shows the most history. They gave a timeline with pictures. That's always good because timelines are usually not very wordy. You can just have picture timelines are really good. They have a thesis statement, pretty bold, and I know Miss Minton's been working with y'all on thesis statements. You want to make it to where I can walk straight up to this board and know exactly what they're talking about. What do you think about their vote title? It's cool. Yeah, it's nice. It can be distracting. But the thing about it is, as long as you're incorporating it into the display of your project, that's okay. I think lights are fine. What I don't like as a judge, if I'm walking up, they have this really big sign that says vote, but that's not necessarily their title. They could have incorporated that into their title, maybe like innovations in voting technology or something like that. That might help. But I also look at it as a lot of space up here for their title, not a whole lot of space and time given to their history. This is a history project. It is not an art project. Okay? Moving on. What about this one? Lewis Hines and child labor exposed.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it, but what?
Very crowded.
It's crowded where?
On the side, but they're on the bottom, but they could.
See, y'all could be History Day judges already. You're looking at it as all of the work is down here, all of the spacing, open space is up here. It's not balanced. So when you're working on your History Day project, if you do the exhibit, make sure you're balancing it out. Don't put all your work in the bottom and nothing up top. I can put lots of hands on this one because there's lots of open space. They have a thesis, which I like. They have a very broad, open, declared thesis. That's a really good idea. They also broke it into sections: change, impact, innovation, because that was that year's theme. You could do leadership panel on this side, legacy panel on this side, and then kind of a example of pictures, graphics, charts, and other things for your topic. Okay? Another thing that I like about it is that they did map their pictures, you can see. But one thing I don't like, and this is just my, I guess, OCD-ness, Lewis Hines child labor exposed is not necessarily lined up. So if they were to put Lewis in the middle, Hine in the middle, they could have had some more space at the top to maybe put pictures of Lewis Hine, or maybe pictures of what Lewis Hine took pictures of, sample pictures, because all of his pictures would be primary sources that they could have added to the board. But they did do child labor exposed, and so it centered that. So they did have some. And you don't always have to take my advice on this stuff. I'm just giving some suggestions as a judge, having done this category before. What do you think about this one? Lots of room. What else can you tell me about
The title is like about to fall off.
it? The title looks like it's about to fall off. It looks like they just kind of pulled it out of their pocket and glued it or taped it up there, right? What else?
The poster board kind of looks bent.
Yeah, it looks like the poster board maybe got sat on or something. It doesn't look like they cared about it. What else, Clayton?
It looks like they spent more time making those fancy wavy designs.
Yeah, and does that add to it, the wavy designs? Some of you, and I've done 8th grade projects enough to know that you really like to make yours stand out. That's great. But make sure it's not distracting when you stand out. You want to make it look professional. The wavy lines, as Clayton said, it looks like they did a whole lot of time doing wavy lines, but it's very distracting. It's very uneven. It looks like a 2nd grader did it. So when I walk up to this project, immediately the first thing I see is gaping holes and just weird-looking squiggly lines that doesn't look like the student put a lot of time into it. You can buy scissors that do squiggly lines that would make it a little bit more organized. But again, what does that add to your project?
Nothing.
Maybe in this case, nothing, because it's about diabetes. You know, not history of wavelengths or anything like that.
They
Yes,
could have done a little better maybe by putting more pictures with the some of the alone paragraphs. And
oh,
stuff.
absolutely. Look at there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pictures in this whole
Like
board.
10. Or more
And
than 10.
another thing I see too is the different color backing. What do y'all notice?
It's like ketchup and mustard.
It's like
Ketchup and mustard, yeah. What else?
it like hurts your eyes. It's like whoa, because they're opposite colors and they don't look good at all.
Yeah, they don't match. So make sure your color schemes go hand in hand. Even someone said earlier the red title board on a blue background doesn't look good for this one. It could if you're doing maybe a superhero theme or something, like Legacy of Superman or something like that. But if you're doing diabetes, you don't think of red and blue. Maybe Democrats, Republicans if you're doing something political, but not diabetes. So make sure your colors and your backing and all your spacing matches what you're talking about. The wavelengths don't add anything. The colors look like ketchup and mustard. You know, it's not really adding to your project. And it just looks disheveled. So obviously a bad example. This one you can't really see that well, but what about the design?
It's interesting.
It's interesting. What's interesting about it? No?
They moved it, like got out of the comfort zone. They like, instead of doing the traditional
Free panel.
they made it into this cool, looks like one of those makeup things.
Yeah, it could be like one of those makeup packages. This is a history of the women's choice movement or the birth control movement, and a birth control pack kind of opens up like that. If you can not see really now, but if we turn the lights off, you can see they have pills all the way around it to make it look like a birth control pill. So they're being creative and using an actual sample prototype as their exhibit. You can do that. It's totally good, and it's visually stimulating. It tells us about their project.
And they got it up.
And yeah, absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Would that be too big? Like,
No, because as long as it's not taller than how tall?
6 foot.
6 foot, wider than
40 inches.
40 inches, and deeper than 30. And I think if you measured from this part, to, that middle part to the front part, it would be about 30 inches or less. Yeah. All right, this next one.
that's bad.
It's very busy. I like it. I like that they have a lot of information. But again, sometimes you can have too much information, and it's just kind of like squirrel, and you're distracting your audience. You want to look professional. Use your space wisely and your words wisely, because you're going to only have how many words?
500.
Or less. Yeah. So really make sure that you're utilizing your spacing wisely. They did a good job with the title at the top, the Transcontinental Railroad. I would say it's a little boring because the Transcontinental Railroad doesn't tell me about anything. Okay, you might want to give it a subtitle. The Transcontinental Railroad, the legacy of the hard work that the immigrants and Americans put into making transportation accessible all across America. You know, something a little bit more elaborate than just the Transcontinental Railroad or the Titanic. Okay, moving on. This one's about the Miranda v. Arizona case, Supreme Court case in 1966. Anybody know what that did? Well, then you could walk up to it and you could find out, or you should be able to find out about the Miranda v. Arizona case just by walking up. The students in there shouldn't even have to tell you. They have their thesis laid out right in front. They have like a lamp and some handcuffs and a judge's gavel. They have a chair. So does that give any idea of what maybe this case is about? Court, yeah, it's a court case. Or trial.
Interrogation.
Interrogation, it's about your rights. The Miranda case says you have the Miranda rights when you're arrested. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say and do can be held against you in the court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be provided for you. These are all the rights that you have guaranteed in the Constitution. So they designed their board to make it look like it may be an interrogation chair with a lamp, the arrest part, the judge part. And so you're drawn in automatically. And something we noticed earlier, this is a chair. Did they just leave the chair alone?
No.
What did they do to it?
They put
Information. Yeah, they put information.
Yeah, they didn't just leave it and leave empty space, even though that might be a message or a symbolism. They used the chair as more backing or board space, being creative with their space. Okay, I like that. You will have process paper with your exhibits. You'll need at least probably 3 or 4 for the judges. And that's your title page, your 5 paragraphs, and your sources all stapled together. We'll learn more about that. But they laid those right in front too, on the chair. So again, they're using the chair for multiple purposes in this exhibit. Really unique. This one's a really good one. It has lights at the top. It also included an electronic component because you can have a 2-minute and 30-second clip embedded into your board if you wanted. My wife did exhibits when she was in high school and made all the way to nationals, and they cut out a TV hole and put a little portable DVD player in it, and it played a 2-minute, 30-second documentary clip on loop. So you can incorporate some interactivity and some digital media into your board. Again, just another unique design, good or bad?
Good.
Yeah, good. It's drawing you in. I do see some spots at the top where they could still added things. But notice this also has padded backing, that matte, that's good. Very bold title, even though Innovation of International Affairs really doesn't tell me what it's talking about. So make sure your title, we'll do another day on that, but make sure your title is explaining clearly what your topic is. This one won first place at Nationals 2 years ago. It's called the Revolution Through Reaction Reform of Harvey Milk. You could almost do this exact same topic this year, the leadership and legacy of Harvey Milk, a politician out in San Francisco that got killed. But they made it very bold, obvious who they're talking about, lots of information. They probably spent $1,000 on this project, to be really honest, because they got picture frames and frame things. These are 3D lettering at the top. It wasn't just printed. But you don't have to spend that much to compete with these type of projects. Be creative. Be unique. You all have talents in art. Capitalize on that. Or choose a different category. History of refrigeration. They built a refrigerator into the project.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. It rotated as well, so it can be creative besides just the 3-panel. The pop art, I like this one because it was a history of pop art, but I didn't like it because, why?
Space.
A lot of space. They were more interested in the pop art itself than the history of pop art. And what's the problem with that?
This is totally off the scene, because that's
This is not an art project. This is a History Day project. And the judges want to see history. They don't care about how cool you are with your art design. They want to see history. This one was very unique. I think it placed at Nationals a couple years ago. But I don't like it for the fact that it's just too perfect. It's almost like somebody came in and just printed all this stuff off. They had someone professionally make it. We're really not trying to get y'all to do that. We don't want you to spend a whole lot of money competing like this. This is someone else's design. We want to show that an 8th grader made this project and y'all put your blood, sweat, and tears into making it, and you own this project and you're proud of everything you've done with it. Not, I took it to a printer and they printed this off and glued it and put it together for me. Yes, this looks good. Yes, I'd seen stuff like this in a museum, but does this look like an 8th grader did it?
No.
No, and the judges can tell that. You know, having been a judge myself, I'll say, so tell me about your project. And if you can't really tell me about it, but it's this amazing project, I'm going to automatically say, Mom and Daddy did it, or you hired someone to do this. And that's not what this project's about. This project is a history competition. And we want to see what history you've learned and done, and you've displayed on the board. What about this one?
that. No.
Really bad. Why?
Way too many pictures, not enough information, way too much video.
Way too many pictures. Every picture should have what? Captions. And what's a caption?
Something that explains the picture of what's
Yes, it does.
Yeah, tell me what I'm looking at and why I'm looking at it. Okay, and usually pictures will include a date too. Show me when this picture was taken, especially if you're using it as a primary source. Another thing I look at it is this is 2 science fair boards put on top of each other. That's fine. That's probably exactly 6 feet. It's probably also exactly 40 inches, so they're meeting the dimensions.
What about the title?
The title, yeah, what does it tell us?
Nothing.
Nothing. When the unsinkable sinks. Is that a reference to, you know, some giant rock or some floatable balloon? We don't know. And then you look into it and you're like, oh, we're talking about this boat. Is it the Titanic? Well, I know other ships that sunk. Lusitania, you know, the one that just recently sunk off the coast of Italy. Are you talking about that? Your title needs to explain specifically what your focus is. And your pictures should complement that, but I don't see a lot of text up there. This isn't a picture project, it's a history project. Not a very good example. I think this student was just more excited about making this Lego history boat at the bottom and like, look what I did, yeah. Well, this isn't a puzzle making contest, it's a history contest. Alright, another good one, I Love Lucy, board coming out. Alright, you can also have electronics, lights, displays, you know, something flashy, that's fine, but make sure it's adding to your project, not distracting from your project. Alright, the essay. How many of y'all are essay writers?
I'm a good writer. I don't know.
We've done really well in the past, thanks to Miss Mitten and Miss Nations for encouraging students to write essays, because essays are 6 to 10 pages. You can actually just have 6 pages and then fill in block text and pictures to add to your essay, and that would make it 10 pages. But it's got to be between 1,500 and 2,500 words. Not a whole lot, actually, when you think about it. And it needs to include footnotes or references to things that you're referencing or citing in your paper, as well as your bibliography. Essays, we can talk more about that later. Performances is one I personally like because it's something that's constantly changing. It's a 10-minute performance, but you have a 5-minute setup to do your props and your costumes. You have questions, and then you have a 5-minute takedown. but you've got to do that all by yourself. Parents can't help, teachers can't help. It's got to be student made. The script needs to be informative. Don't get up here and recite Shakespeare. Don't get up here and just have a fun joke, comedy routine. Definitely don't just get up here and play music or sing. It's not a talent contest. It's a history contest. You're getting the theme. That's the goal of the History Day performance. Individuals, you can have different scenes or different scenarios where it's like scene 1, scene 2. But performances, I can definitely help you with if any of y'all are interested in that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so for like the skit and stuff,
Mhm.
can you have other people come up from like little kids or something help you with it? Or does
No,
it
it's got to be
just
all
your-
students. Just students. 5 minutes set up, 5 minutes take down. It's got to be just the students participating in the skit.
Okay.
Just like this one, they did a history of Sesame Street. Only these 5 students could set this set up and take that set up. That's some of our kiddos. Documentary is a 10-minute documentary. Every computer now pretty much comes standard with Windows Movie Maker or iMovie, depending on if you're a Mac or a PC user. Miss Ashley in the East Lab will also be willing to help you if you're interested in doing that. I love documentaries, but it's really the hardest part is getting it down to 10 minutes. Okay? And the last category is the website. And the thing about the website category is it's kind of a combination of everything. You're displaying your information on a page. You're making it interactive, like clicks and music and so forth. You're having different pages, but you're also making it to where it's like it's an essay because you're writing the parts, and you're including some video clips like a documentary. You can have 45-second clips from YouTube or 45-second clip documentary that you've made that you can embed into it. Really good. This is becoming more popular as well, so it's probably the second most competitive category if you were to choose one of those 5. Okay? And you can go tonight if you wanted to nhd.weebly.org and start making it. Any questions? Those 5 categories, but they're really 9. Choose a category that best fits your topic. Okay? And if you have any questions, Ms. Nations, Ms. Minton, and I would love to help you.